And we are live. Welcome everybody to our new episode of The Art of Improvisation. My name is Lanzo Luconi. I am the founder and director of the Costa Rica Piano Festival. And again, joining me is Dr. Luis Monge, award-winning pianist, composer, professor, and wonderful friend. He's also assistant director of the Costa Rica Piano Festival. So we go back many, many years. So today we're going to be talking about creative harmony. Last week we were talking about melody, how to create melodies, the structure of melodies. And today we're going to be complementing what we learned last week with the color that comes with or can accompany these beautiful melodies that we talked about last week. Just as a reminder, please keep your mics muted. But today we're going to be asking some of you to participate if you would like. So when the time comes, you will be able to participate if you have your instrument near you. And I think without further ado, we can get started. Luis.
Good morning, or good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome, friends. Talking about harmony and creative harmony. Let me start off by just playing a few chords and giving them color by using different chord combinations, by blending different sounds, chords. Just a very simple melody like this. Okay, so listen carefully to the result when I use these chords. Or when I use these chords. Or when I use these other chords. Or do more spicy like this. So how do I put together these chords? How does it happen that you just put or blend these chords? Well, let me share screen and let's take a look at this picture. And here we have an exercise, 1.1 exercise, and I'm going to perform this exercise exactly as written. It's a C major 7 chord. It's a F major chord, which in tonal functional harmony would be the 4th grade, the so-called 4th grade of the C major tonal center. The next chord is A minor, which is the 6th grade. And the last one, the 4th measure, we have an E minor 7 chord, which is the 3rd grade of the C major tonal center. Okay, so let's play first just the chords without the melody. Listen to the resolve, the texture. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, as indicated, since we can see there that the E minor 7 is placed rather at the very end of the measure, that usually means that you would stay on A minor 3 beats of the next measure and use the E minor 7 probably on the 4th beat. But it doesn't change here our exercise. It doesn't actually change things here in this case, or it doesn't make any difference. So we have a 1st, we have a 4th, we have a 6th, and we have a 3rd grade. Now let's combine it and the harmony and put on top the melody. Sounds like this. Right? So there are procedures that we can learn. Of course, creative mind doesn't have limits. So you just have to explore different possibilities. And by exploring, you will actually learn, or you will come to specific formulas, specific patterns that you will probably use after you have discovered them. So in this case, I'm just focusing on procedures that we already know and learn from the practice of harmony 300 years or 400 years in Western musical tradition. So for example, in functional harmony, like we are approaching this morning here in Costa Rica, and showing it out there to you wherever you are, we approach these harmonies in terms of the functions that we have, because chords are functions or represent functions within the tonal framework. So once we know that we have a C major, F, A minor, E minor, one procedure is very simple. That's a simple substitution procedure or reharmonizing procedure. Reharmonization is by using the chord that is a third higher or a third lower. For example, instead of using the C major there, I could use, for example, the A minor chord, which is a third lower. Instead of listen to the result when I use a third lower chord, which is the A minor. Or let's go the other way, a third higher. Instead of using the C major 7, let's use the E minor 7. Okay, and let me straighten up a little bit the rhythm. So 1 and 2 and 3 and now with the E minor 7. 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. Okay, nice. So let's take, for example, the F. Instead of using the F, we can take the chord that is a third higher, which is the A minor. So that will have an impact on the next measure. Since I'm going to use the F, the A minor chord instead of the F, third higher, I'd rather change the next chord in order to inject, to give the harmony construction more variety. So if I use the A minor chord in the second measure, I can use the C major chord, which is a third higher above the A minor. So it would sound like this. D minor, for example. procedure, very simple, is using, for example, a common note. Since we have a B on the second measure, the note, the melody note is B. B is also part of E minor, is the fifth. B is also the third of G. Why don't we use, for example, a G chord? Listen how it sounds. Okay. Or go back to the C. Since we already have the C at the very beginning, I'm going to use it in this case for the third measure. Let's give it a little bit of variety and don't use the C major at the beginning. Let's use the E minor like I did before. It would sound like this. The G and the C. And for today, I would like to demonstrate or to introduce you to another basic procedure, which is called secondary dominance. The secondary dominant, the term is representing the function of a chord that, not being the real dominant of that tonal center, it serves as a dominant, as a temporary dominant. For example, I can use, instead of the C major chord, I can enhance a little bit the harmonic rhythm and use two chords instead of one chord, and insert a secondary dominant, which will increase the contrast and the expectation. Like, for example, let's take the third measure where we have the A minor, and instead of staying on the A minor, why don't we use a secondary dominant, which in this case I will use the dominant for A minor. And the dominant of A minor is a E major chord or an E7 chord. So it would sound like this. Of course, this also has an impact on the next measure, since I am using the secondary dominant, so I would rather rest on the A minor in measure fourth measure, instead of the E minor that is placed there. So what do you think? Have you sometimes explored some creative harmonies by learning your repertoire or some works? Have you tried a different set of chords to harmonize a Beethoven melody or a Mozart melody or a Rachmaninoff melody, or just a children's song? Is quite a thrilling moment when you discover and reach out and blend some different harmonies. I would like to invite anyone. Would you like to try one of these sketches, reharmonizing the chords, or would you like to share whatever creative harmonization you want to share with us? Anyone out there? Because otherwise we have Lanzo already putting his hands on the piano. Why don't you try, Lanzo, your own?
I'm right here, so I might as well give it a try.
You have your instrument near there.
Instrument right here.
Right piano there.
All right, so are we doing the same sketch?
Let us know why or what chords are you going to use to reharmonize there?
Let's see. So we had originally we had a C, right? And then followed by an F.
Right.
Then followed by an A minor.
So,
yeah.
And
then finishing with a E7. E minor.
With the E7 minor. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
E minor 7.
Mm-hmm. Well, to keep it simple, we can start maybe with an A minor, something like, and then keeping that F, which is easy for me to, and then to a C major, stays right there. And here I can use maybe back to a E minor now, to that E7, right?
Okay.
So what I'm doing here is like keeping almost everything in the same position in the left hand, right? So I don't have to move too much, and it's actually giving it a nice color. So let me try it now. So.
Right.
So and then on top of that, what we can do is now elaborate the rhythm, right? Like a harmonic rhythm, or just I guess an accompaniment, right? Or I guess that would be in the next step, doing something like,
somehow it sounds harmonically somehow, right? Because you started out with a minor chord instead of a major chord,
right?
So, and by following the procedure that I already explained, common note, you can just start, instead of using the C major, why don't we use the F major chord for the very beginning, since we have two notes that belong to the F chord. The
right.
And then common note again here. The B is the fifth of the E minor. Secondary dominant.
Right. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice
again,
turn there. Yeah.
Nice turn. So it's like this. More spicy, an extension of the chord, like this. I used the E7 rather a little sooner than the example before, and the G equals N harmonically and F double sharp.
Right, so you can have the,
which is the ninth, augmented ninth of this of the E chord.
I just realized that you can also.
That's something we will discuss later.
Please, I just also realized that by using secondary dominance, we can add a little bit. Yeah, and we will expand on this later. But we can add a little bit of that chromatic spice. Using secondary dominance, because I just realized if we start in like an F, for example, and then on this E, we can use that secondary dominant already, and then solve right there. So you can choose whatever, like I guess melodic axis points to add the key harmony or the key color.
There is also a concept that we will extend on, we will approach in July, that is called rest harmony and motion harmony, which means that a set of chords sometimes will give you the sense of motion, but sometimes a set of chords will give you the sense of rest, like cadence, right? So that's very important. You feel the motion, the expectation of going further, moving further, and sometimes the chord or the combination, of course, give you the sense of resting, staying there for a while. It can be temporarily, or it can be definite rest. So that's another concept we will approach. But let me just, for the very end, show you how this morning with my examples, with my exercises, another and very simple procedure, which is using the inversions. Instead of just always using the root of the chord like this, listen, for example, how it sounds if I used like this. So instead of using A minor, E minor chord, I use the C major, one of the choices we had, because it's a third above or a third lower, but I use it in first inversion. It sounds like this. Instead of, the sound is like this. Or the G that I was suggesting, because it's a common note. The B note in the melody is the third of the G chord. We could use, for example, a G chord, but in another inversion, in second inversion like this. Then you have motion, because the bass line will move. So, and your melodic contour, your melody line moves downward, while the bass line is moving upward, ascending, the other descending. It gives also shape to your, again, you remember the our topic this morning, creative melody.
Right. Awesome. Wow. Okay. So a lot to take from this. We hope that you found this helpful, and then you can try this at home. We'll be sharing this video on our social media if you want to take a look at what we talked about in summary. And yeah, feel free to try this at home with your instrument. This doesn't necessarily have to be just for pianists. This is actually helpful for all instrumentalists. So, well, this concludes our episode of The Art of Improvisation for this week. And thank you so much for tuning in. If you want to know more, if you want to dive deep into this subject, please consider signing up for the improvisation course during the festival, which is July 8th through 13th. We'll be looking into all different sorts of topics: melody, harmony, composition, and many other resources and tools that you can use to improve your spontaneity at the instrument. And please follow us on social media, Instagram and Facebook. And for more information, you can visit our website, www.costaricapianofestival.com. Luis, thank you very, very much. Thanks everyone for joining us, and we will see you next week. Pura vida.
Bye friends. Pura vida. Follow us.